Captain, United States Navy, retired, arriving. All right, we're back with Bob. Something I wanted to highlight to you to kind of show you the scale of this interview, Bob, is I've been seeing welcomes and happy birthdays to you from all over the world. One person from New Zealand, somebody from Brazil. I'm seeing people from all over the country all wishing you a happy birthday and thank you for being on the stream. And like I told you, we're recording this. And after the fact, you'll be able to go back through and kind of look at some of this stuff. Because the other thing I kind of surprised you with before this was your daughter snuck some photos to us. And for those people watching the stream at home, you'll see those pictures scrolling on the screen. The ones from the album are pictures of a young Bob Batterson in his youth, probably causing havoc out there in Pearl Harbor, I imagine.
Captain Batterson, if I may ask.
Yes, indeed.
What compelled you to join the United States Navy?
Well, we were still in the Depression. I graduated from high school, and there weren't many jobs. I got a job, but my parents wanted me to pay room and board. I wanted to save money to go to college, and they didn't relent, so I joined the Navy, and have never regretted doing so.
Fantastic. Sisyphus also would like to know, why the Navy? Why did you pick the Navy?
Years ago,
We lost you there.
it was written. I forget what they're called, but they always showed these battleships walking in the water. Oh, I sort of fell in love with those battleships. Made me pro-Navy. That's one of the reasons.
Hoo-yah.
Teenager.
That's fantastic. So did you ever get seasick then?
Oh my. First day the Philadelphia left port in Long Beach, California. I was got outside the breakwater.
Oh, yeah.
Started up and down. And, oh, I hit the side of that ship just in time. And on the bridge, there's hit that guy.
Well, I mean, at least you made it off the side of the ship. That's the important thing.
They were very sympathetic.
So
but yes, I got over it, but it happened several times.
Oh man.
Some never did, and they had to be discharged.
Good question from Kretchik. He asks, what were ways that you used to pass what little free time you had when you were on board ship?
Well, the listen man really tried to get some sleep. And the other couldn't take a nap, tried to get some sun, especially during lunch hour. That's favorite pastime of the guys aboard. It's about all there was to do. There wasn't much to do aboard those ships in those days.
Fair enough. I like how you said that as the enlisted guys, that's what you're trying to do, because you're used to working them long hours, right? So you don't get much free time.
Kept us busy.
Sukrat SSG1 asks, where in your naval career were you stationed? So what places during your career were you stationed?
Oh my goodness. San Diego, Long Beach, Norfolk, Washington. I had 2 tours of duty in that city, and I'll never forget it. That was, a terrible duty
Why was that?
because the politicians ran it.
And then, of
We
course,
had to be very careful.
oh yeah.
And then, of course, the Warship and Monterey was one of my favorites. I went to PG school there.
Yeah, postgraduate school, it's still there. It's the Navy's postgraduate school is still there.
Still there.
How long were you stationed in Pearl?
And where?
In Pearl Harbor?
Well, I was with the fleet. About a year and a couple years actually being stationed there.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I know you said earlier you have no regrets for your naval career, and I know this is true. But one of our players asks, "Would you do if you had a chance? Would you do it all again?"
Well, I don't think I did too bad. I think I'd sort of stay with the same plan.
Fair enough. I mean, you're here at 99, so evidently you did something right, right?
Yeah, yes.
Let's see here.
Apprentice seaman to captain. That's
You went through it all.
I wouldn't want to change that.
What rank were you? What rank were you when you got your commission?
Oh, I was a storekeeper first class, petty officer first class, discharged from the regular Navy, picked up into reserve, V5 program, aviation cadet. It's an aviation cadet when I got my commission.
Did you do your flight school in Pensacola?
Oh, right here, Corpus Christi.
Okay.
So I have a question for you. So in all your naval career, what was your favorite uniform? What uniform did you like the best? Blues, whites, flight suit, your dungarees when you were enlisted?
Your pajamas.
Or PJs, yeah.
My preference to wear all across the board has to be the blue uniform.
Oh,
blue.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
Those blues could make any person look just completely debonair, can't they?
Sure.
Chief.
Now, well, along those lines, I have a really important question for you. As a chief to a captain, I have to ask you, do you have any memorable chiefs or chiefs that you remember from your career specifically? Maybe not a name, but you ever have a chief that really stood out to you during your career?
Yes. Aboard the guided missile cruiser. We put that ship in commission. And we worked out a system of supporting the maintenance people. They had a new missile system. They had a lot of problems. They had a lot of work to do. And it was our job to make it as easy as we could. And the two of us worked together and got them little kits for maintenance, other little favors, getting him support as fast as we could. And he was a key man. He did everything beautiful. And they really appreciated it. Those maintenance people really let us know that they were happy. That was worth everything to us.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic. So I wanted to ask you, before I ask you this question, I want to know that you're okay talking about it, because obviously you're a Pearl Harbor survivor, and you lived through it, right? And I just wanted to know if you're okay talking about that subject before I go and ask you questions about it.
Oh yes, yes.
So why don't you? Obviously, I know the attack happened early in the morning. Why don't you kind of walk through how that went from the morning until you guys kind of figured out what was going on?
Well, I was in the enlisted barracks. I was not aboard ship. There were about 20 of us in the barracks that night. And we had, I think most of us had been on Liberty. Liberty was over at 11 o'clock, so we were all aboard. And that morning, we thought the noise we heard was another drill. And the language was not too good. Then one guy yelled, "That was a Jap. Just flew by a Jap." So we knew that this was no drill, that we were at war. And we couldn't believe what they were doing to us. Planes flying in, torpedoes hitting the ship, dive bombers making their runs. No, just, we were absolutely defensive. And those men, many of them didn't even know when they died. Torpedo or a bomb hit, and it's strafing it. And that, we watched that about 15 minutes. Could see it all. And it just, we were stunned. We went below, and we had no battle station. Few of the survivors were being brought in. We were helping them. And then the word was passed for us to lay outside, get in the truck, and go down and fight fires in the casting down. There were two destroyers in dry dock that had been bombed and on fire. And they were sitting directly ahead of the battleship Pennsylvania. All three of them were in the same dry dock. So we were on our way to get into the truck, and then we were strafed. Thank God the pilot overshot. But we made it down to the fire, and we were squirting water on the casting downs. There were about eight of us on each hose. While we were fighting the fire, the Japs were bombing the Pennsylvania. She was right behind them. And something occurred that forever remained with me. The civilian who ran a big crane, a huge crane that was alongside the Pennsylvania. He actually got into that crane and was running that crane back and forth, disconcerting, very disconcerting to the Japs. He probably saved many lives aboard that ship.
Wow.
Many lives and much damage. They could have taken him out with one run, but they never did. And he did that until a bomb hit the track, which he was going back and forth. But that was a real hero. And he was only 50, 60 feet from us when he made the run back towards us. He was a real hero. And then it was over. And I was squirting in the water still. We were still fighting fires. Well, the war is over. The war is over. The smoke was so thick that It was more like dusk than it was 9:30 Sunday morning. I could give you more information, but I don't think I would get too involved.
No, sir, that is more than enough, actually. I really sincerely appreciate that.
Captain Batterson, you went back a few years ago to Pearl Harbor, right? You went back for the 75th anniversary, the 75 years since the attack. What was that moment like for you, 75 years after the fact?
Except get involved and try to help our country as much as we can now.
Sure.
And I would like to offer you the opportunity to come aboard anytime and hear my description of that Pearl Harbor and your Pearl Harbor. Your Pearl Harbor is the Twin Towers. And I guarantee you we'll have an interesting discussion. And you may well change your mind about what you want to do in the future, because it's going to be us getting involved to save our country.